guys, it's Tara. Welcome back to Bake In. Today we're going to be making some delicious ham and cheese gougères, which are basically just cheesy puffs. Delicious. Easy to make. Let's get started. First off, we're going to need to make the dough, which is basically all this really is. So we're going to start off with 170 mils of milk, whole milk, full fat, 80 milliliters of water, 115 grams of unsalted butter that I've just cubed, just about a teaspoon of coarse salt for some flavoring to season it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this come to a rapid boil. So that will melt the butter completely. I don't want to evaporate too much of the liquids here. So that's why the butter is broken up into smaller pieces so that it melts quicker and gets to temperature quicker. So choux pastry is really easy to make. It's basically flour, water, butter, seasoning, milk in this case as well. And then you pipe it and you bake it. That's it. But for this one, we're going to flavor it with some cheese and ham and some spice. It's gonna be delicious. So I'm just gonna let this come to a boil. Gougères are perfect if you want a really quick snack, which is usually why I would make gougères. They're also really good for dinner parties as appetizers or amuse-bouche. You can stuff them with anything you want, but really they're just so delicious on their own. So the French do it right. Butter, lots of butter, it's all flavor, it's fat, it's delicious, and cheese. All right, so can you guys see that it's starting to bubble up around the sides here? Completely boiling. We're gonna add all of our flour. So I've got 180 grams of flour here. I'm gonna add it all at once, right in, boom, whisk this together. Or not whisk, mix it. And it will form a dough. I don't want it to be too hot while I'm doing this. I don't want to brown the flour or anything. What's happened here is the hot water has helped swell the flour granules, and so it's become a really thick dough. And if it wasn't hot like this, it would just kind of turn into like a paste per se. Well, I mean, this is like a really thick paste, but more liquidy per se. So you really want it to swell up those flour granules. So I'm just gonna keep cooking this. I've got this on like a low heat here. I'm gonna cook it, which is gonna dry out the dough a little bit because we don't want too much moisture. The goal is to have these rise in the oven at a really high temperature. By the way, while I've said that, preheat your oven to 220 degrees, which is about 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Get some trays ready with some parchment paper on them. Because I'm using a non-stick pan, it's a lot easier, but if you're not, you will get this skin that forms on the bottom of your pan, and that's when you know that it has dried out enough. Take it right off. Because mine's non-stick, I'm not gonna get that skin on the bottom. I'm just gonna cook it until I think it's dry enough. Oh! It's my kitchen, I can make a mess. All good. I love making choux pastry because you can do so many things with it. You can make eclairs if they're sweet. You can make cream puffs, croquembouche. I made a croquembouche for Twisted and it was so much fun to do. So definitely one of my favorite pastries to work with. All right, so I believe I've cooked it out quite a bit here. It's looking really nice. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna use a food processor to combine the eggs and all the other ingredients. If you don't wanna use a food processor, you don't have one, you can just do this by hand. I just think this is a little bit easier and fun, but you know. I'm gonna transfer the dough in, and you can see there's still steam coming off it. So I do wanna cool it down a little bit before I add the eggs to it. So what I'm gonna do is just pulse it a couple of times. I'm gonna take this off so that the steam can come out of there, and that'll help cool down the dough a little bit. So loud. Sorry guys. So it is quite warm. I'm just gonna let it sit for a couple minutes just to let it cool down a bit. So bear with me. Won't take too long. So what I'm gonna do now is add in 5 eggs that I have just lightly whisked together so that they're easier to combine. That's it. Yeah. We're gonna add in 5 eggs. Ooh, that was a weird. This thing wants to lay out maybe. Alright. So the joy of doing this in the food processor is a lot less mess. I have a tendency when I add the eggs in and I'm mixing it, dough has flown everywhere. And it's on camera. I've done it at Twisted in the studio. It's happened. I'm just giving this a scrape just to make sure that I'm getting it all mixed in. But this is just an easy way to do it. And I'm all about giving you guys easy techniques here. Definitely not traditional to do it in a food processor, but it's okay. It's like the weirdest motor sound. All right, so that is nice and smooth. Can you guys see that? Really nice consistency here. Oh, I'm making such a mess, but I'm trying not to. Okay, so flavoring. I've got some pepper here. So I love pepper. I've got some finely grated Parmesan cheese. This is about 15 grams. I've got 20 grams of finely grated Gruyere cheese, which is a bit more nutty and a bit stronger in flavor. Because these are French, I'm obviously going to use a French cheese to keep it somewhat traditional here. Some chopped up ham. This is about 60 grams. And for some beautiful color, about 2 tablespoons of chopped chives. And then what we're going to do is pulse this together and then stir it up. This thing is going nuts. I'm just going to give it a stir with my spatula. Just want to make sure it's getting to the bottom of it, you know? But oh, it smells nice already with all these cheeses and the ham. These are gonna be so good. And they're also quite light, so if you eat, oh my God, if you eat a lot of them, don't tell anybody how much butter is in it. Cool, that's it, it's done. Easy peasy, all combined. You see that? How nice that is. Nice and thick, excellent. So I'm going to now transfer these into a piping bag, a big one with a really big tip. I'll show you guys in a minute. Then we're gonna have some fun and pipe them. So, ciao. Alright guys, so I've transferred the mix to a large piping bag and it's got quite a large tip. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit on each corner to start, just a little dab. Doesn't have to be neat at all. This is gonna help the parchment paper stick. So I don't want it flying around in the oven. And also when you're piping them, you don't want the paper to lift up either. So now, I'm gonna pipe about 1-inch mounds on the piping paper? On the parchment paper. Let's get to it. So I'm probably gonna do about 4 in a row. So I've got a little bowl of water. What I'm going to do is just dip my finger in, and any peaks that are there, I'm just gonna tap them down gently. Just push down that tip. And now we're going to egg wash them. That's going to help give them a really nice and golden brown color. And that's it, you guys. They're ready to bake in the preheated oven, which is ripping hot right now. So they're going to get really nice golden brown and delicious. Present to you gougeres, ham and cheese gougeres that are just loaded with so much goodness. It makes so many, so I have to eat all of these. Oh no! Anyways, they're delicious. Gonna just show you guys the inside of them. Let me take one nice one. There you go. So when you break it apart, it should be quite hollow inside, with like a little bit of a custardy center. You can see bits of the chives and the ham. So tasty. Sorry, these are my favorite. Absolutely love these. And they're so small, you can literally eat so many. Oh, I love they're hollow. They're so good. So super easy method, really quick to make. Why not? You can even fill them with like cheese. Here you go. Gougeres, put anything you want in them, any filling you'd like, or just eat them plain like I am, just as is. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Bake In, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya.